Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope you're doing well. There was some really good matchmaking on the card headlined by Luis Alberto Lopez and Joet Gonzalez, and on the undercard was a very good fight. In fact, there were several really good fights, a couple of good 8-rounders, but there was a 10-rounder between Jamaine Ortiz and Antonio Moran. And Ortiz, you may remember him because his last fight he lost a unanimous decision to Vasyl Lomachenko, and he won a few rounds as well. I mean, the cards weren't that wide. I know Lomachenko is probably past his best, but credit to Ortiz. But he had a tough time against Moran because although Ortiz came in at 16 wins, 8 KOs, 1 defeat, 1 draw, his only defeat being his last fight to Lomachenko, Moran came in with 29 wins, 20 victories by KO, 5 defeats, only 1 by stoppage, and that was to Devin Haney back in 2019. And he really brought it to Ortiz. I was very impressed with Moran's attitude. And the cards, the fight was won by Ortiz on a unanimous decision, but I honestly do think that the cards were too wide. I mean, a couple of them were like 98, 92, 99, 91. I had this fight 96, 94, and there were a couple of rounds where you could have said, all right, 50-50. But it was a tough fight for Ortiz, and Moran deserves a lot of credit for really bringing it and trying to win right up to the end. He actually did. Early on there was a hook between. There was a hook from Moran, which seemed to sort of stiffen, or at least get Ortiz's attention. I think it was in the second round. And immediately you thought, okay, this is not going to be an easy gig. But Ortiz, as the fight progressed, proved to be the sharper puncher, probably the harder puncher, and the more accurate one. And that's not to say Moran didn't have his moments, but Moran is from Mexico. He's a 5'11" orthodox fighter, and Ortiz from the US, from Massachusetts, 5'8". So he was a shorter man, only 27 years old. He's not old, but he was made to work for every second of every round, and even if you thought that the rounds belonged to Ortiz, or most of them did, Moran he tried to get in close and was getting picked off by Ortiz, but he did land some pretty decent punches, but they were just individual ones. I think Ortiz was the one that was firing the better combinations. Ortiz definitely, there was one round, I think it was the 5th, where Moran was having a really good round until about the last 10 seconds. And then from out of nowhere, Ortiz just clipped him. And it was literally with 10 seconds or less to go. And he just kind of froze and did a little wobble, a little wave motion with his body. And Ortiz jumped all over him. And that kind of summed up the fight a bit, because Ortiz's punches were just more accurate and they seemed to have more of an effect. But there were periods where Moran was doing quite well, and then it would be negated by some really good work by Ortiz. When Ortiz had Moran hurt, and there were a few occasions, about 3 I can think of offhand, he really did go in for him and let his hands go. There was he wasn't shy about coming forward. But Moran, he deserves credit for giving him a tough 10 rounds. There was a cut under Ortiz's eye. I don't think it looked like a really long, thin, not particularly deep cut. There was a bit of blood flowing, but I don't think it'll need too many stitches, if any. But Ortiz eventually, down the stretch, he was looking like he was in control of the fight. And like I said, I had it quite close, 96, 94, but that probably is too close. I bet if I watch this again, I'd probably have it 97, 93, but not 99, 91. I think that was a bit of a stretch for me. Although if you give everything that's close to Ortiz, maybe, But go and have a look at this fight if you can find it, because it was very entertaining, very sort of well fought, good honest fighting, some good skills on offer. Ortiz probably just half a step quicker, bit more power and a bit more sharpness. But all credit to Moran for bringing it and for giving a good account of himself, good performance. So have a look at it. Like I say, it was on Top Rank card. Really, this whole card was really impressive. Some very good matchups, very good matchmaking, especially for the youngsters, bringing them on well. Comments below as always. Like the video if you liked it. Hit subscribe. Build Joe Stunner Boxing up. Come on, it's your channel as much as mine. Spread the word, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.